The God of Thunder is one of Marvel's mightiest Avengers, and Superman is by far the most powerful hero on the DC side, so obviously the question becomes, who would come out on top in a fight?
I'll surrender.
I knew it.
Superman has a seemingly endless array of abilities and a bottomless power reserve as long as he's close to our sun, but could the Asgardian warrior come out victorious? Let's discuss.
What a classic Thor adventure. Hurrah!
I know that by most accounts, Superman seemingly outclasses Thor in terms of raw strength, especially in earlier years of the DC universe. Superman has pulled planets, punched people into orbit, and is more powerful than a locomotive.
Let's put our cards on the table here, General.
Barely anything beats a locomotive. In his own universe, Superman's powers are pretty much unmatched, and they only get stronger as he gets closer to the Earth's sun. But let's not count out Thor. Although on average he seems a little weaker than the Man of Steel, he still has displayed insane levels of pure brute strength, like that time he destroyed a planet while fighting Beta Ray Bill, or punching out Galactus and the Phoenix Force. He's held up Asgard, literally, resisted a black hole's gravity, and even leg pressed 1 million tons. Yeah, Superman is probably the stronger of the two, but the divide isn't as great as some might suspect. Like, Superman versus Thor is a much closer fight than, say, Hawkeye versus Superman. When we talk about superpowers, Superman has a far more versatile set of abilities. Come on, the freeze breath, heat vision combo, on top of the super strength, the super speed, indestructibility, X-ray vision, and whatever new random power he's been given over the years, Superman just has a wider arsenal of really strong tools to choose from. But on the other hand, Thor regularly fights frost giants and has endured energy blasts from godlike celestials. I'm saying Thor knows how to take a hit. Superman's abilities might hurt Thor, but they wouldn't necessarily put him down. And besides his own immense strength that comes from Asgardian physiology, Thor is the absolute master over lightning. As the God of Thunder, he can control and manipulate magical bolts of lightning and generally control other weather conditions. And I think Thor's lightning powers could prove to be especially effective against Superman. Over the years, heat and cold haven't done much to the Man of Steel, but electricity sometimes brings the hero to his knees. Thor's strength and his unparalleled ability to harness electricity might make him the perfect opponent for Supes. Another weakness Superman has? A vulnerability to magic, and that's something Thor could definitely exploit. In the past, Shazam has proven to be a strong foe against Superman because of his magical lightning, so there is precedence. Thor's powers are deprived of both magic and his Asgardian lineage, and his enchanted hammer, Mjolnir, provides the God of Thunder with yet another mystical tool in his arsenal. While Superman could potentially overpower Thor, blows rendered by the mystical Mjolnir would likely impose a serious damage on the Kryptonian hero. I mean, Superman has super speed, so he could essentially dodge the lightning blasts, but all it takes is one good hit. Also, it's worth noting that Superman rarely goes all out against opponents, especially in friendly fights. Thor is the complete opposite and always fights to win. Combined with his mystical abilities, that mindset could give the mighty Avenger the edge he needs to emerge victorious from what would surely be an epic confrontation. Despite the mountain of evidence that I just laid out like 30 seconds ago, Superman may still very well have this fight in the bag. Superman soundly defeated Thor when the two heroes actually faced one another. They've crossed paths a few times since, comic studios like money and fun gimmicks, and their most meaningful interaction came when the Marvel and DC universes collided in a JLA Avengers story back in 2003. At the end of the crossover's first issue, Thor hurled his hammer Mjolnir right at Superman's face as the two teams, the JLA and the Avengers, confronted one another. The fight between Thor and Superman soon took center stage, and I mean, why wouldn't it? All those heroes got a free front row seat to the fight of the century. In the comic fight, Thor stepped up to the Last Son of Krypton, and the two pushed themselves to their limits. Thor withstood the full might of Superman's heat vision, and the two traded blows at full strength, meaning that it was turning into a pretty epic fight. I mean, if it was anyone else, they would have gotten and pulverized. Afterwards, the Kryptonian stated that Thor was the single toughest opponent he had ever faced in battle. He must have been forgetting about Doomsday. That must have been an okay consolation prize though, right? Anyways, these two are titans, and while it seems like Superman has a clear advantage with his skill set, we can't forget about Thor's efforts. He puts up an amazing fight, and if anyone in the Marvel Universe could take down the Man of Steel, it would be Thor. Now the real question becomes, which live-action version would we choose for this fight? There's only been one main actor playing Thor, so that's easy, but there's been like a bajillion Superman actors. Who would do best or worst against Thor? Who do you think would win a fight? Does Thor stand a chance, or are we in for an upset? Or does Superman just reign as the king of all superheroes? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching CBR. See you next time.